Okay, so thank you very much. Thank you to be here again, to attendees, speakers, and online attendees as well. We will go for the next presentation. So we will have now three last presentations before brainstorming sessions and questions answer sessions. So the last group is the stakeholder empowerment of sustainable cities. We call it like this. It will be, the presentation will be the project and benefit with Jacek from LIST. I'll leave you the floor, please.
So, good morning, everyone. My name is Jacek Stankiewicz. Thank you for the introduction. I'm going to tell you about the project and benefits. This project has been going on since the beginning of 2023, and I only joined LIST and became involved in this project about 5 months ago. So the PI of the project is Claudio Petuco. I think some of you hopefully had a chance to meet him yesterday and the day before. Today, unfortunately, he cannot be here. He has an internal event at LIST. So I'll do my best to give you a quick overview of the project. This project is sponsored by the FNR, for which we are very grateful. It's part of the JUMP call, which is about valorizing different technologies. And just in one sentence, what we want to do is we want to develop a decision support tool to help regenerative urban design, right now concentrating on planned urban forest. And what we believe makes our approach unique is we have a fully integrated approach behind our simulation, which considers full life cycle assessment, ecosystem services, ecology. And when we talk about ecosystem services, it's important to distinguish that there are obvious benefits, ecosystem services, but there are also what we call ecosystem disservices, which are effectively investments you have to put up front. If you want to plant, there are costs associated with planting trees. If you want to irrigate your urban forests, you need to use water which could have possibly be used for something else. So this becomes also a financial balance. And then for our simulation, we calculate the overall environmental value, and we also try to estimate the monetary value of this. I'll show some examples later on in the presentation. So the target users of this are cities, municipalities, and urban planners mostly, and we encourage that they would work with us in the early stages of their project. For example, before they start planting any trees, this would be the optimal time, not plant the trees and then many years down the line you want to use this tool. Well, no, this is designed to be used right at the very early stage. We also would like to work with software developers, because for now the only nature-based solutions we have incorporated in the tool so far are trees. A lot of urban planners are now interested in other solutions, such as ponds or green walls or green roofs. Because for the trees we use a lot of allometric equations, it's not a straightforward substitute to just substitute allometric equations for how a tree grows to replace it with a green wall. So if there are any software developers who are interested in modeling ecosystem services related to ponds and green walls, we would very much like to collaborate with you. Just to give you an example, or just to show you how this app is envisaged to function, you define your area inside a city or next to the city, and you specify how many trees you want to grow, what tree species, decide whether you want to irrigate them, whether you're going to clean the litter fall, whether you're going to prune them, whether you're going to keep maintaining the soil. You don't need to decide. This is not a question which needs to be answered at the beginning. What we do is we take different answers to all these questions, and then we model how each particular combination will evolve over many years. And at the end, you can compare how the results would look like. So I'm going to turn around from the microphone. I hope you still hear me. So at the bottom left, should I use that one instead? And one important aspect is the management of the uncertainty. So this is better? Yeah. So there are a lot of climatic components that go into it, and also economical ones. We do not know how this will develop over the next 10, 20, 30 years. So we, for every simulation, we run different scenarios for different climatic and economic parameters. And at the end, each result provides you an envelope, which is effectively the uncertainty. Now, I don't know if you can see much on this results graph at the bottom, but on the top graph, in the orange curve, is your total expenses, or what I termed earlier the ecosystem disservices. In green, you see the ecosystem services. So you can actually see where your project will become sustainable, where you reach your threshold or break-even point, whatever you want to call it. Now, the three curves under it, on the left you have biophysical parameters, and on the right you have the attempt to translate them into monetary values. So, for example, on the top, I think it's the SO2. How much damage from SO2 has been avoided? And then on the right, the same graph on the right is the monetary value of it. In green you have sequestrated carbon, and in blue next to it the value of the sequestrated carbon. You see that the uncertainties of the plots on the right are much greater, because when you consider biophysical parameters, you only have climatic uncertainties. If you want to translate them into monetary value, you don't know what the carbon tax will be like next year, or let alone in 10 years' time. So this is how we envisage the tool to run. Where we are now, like I said before, for now we only work with trees. We hope to add other nature-based solutions into it. But yeah, 5% is probably already a generous overestimate of how far we've done that. We do have a demo version up and running, and we are very happy with how the valorization strategy is progressing. So where we want to take it from here is early next year we want to have a beta version on the market, and then once that is obviously, well, we carry on developing that, but we want to, in the years to come, we want to incorporate further biodiversity parameters, and eventually, way down the line, we want to integrate this fully into water-based, nature-based solutions. Water-based solutions. So that's all from me.
Okay, thank you very much, Jacek. So now we will leave the floor to Andrea Costa from N2M Italy. Please. Thank you.
So hello everyone. I will talk to you about GreenPass, and before that, just a quick intro. So most of you probably know R2M being very much involved in innovation and research projects and events like this, and I work in R2M more on the market side. The market side means mainly we support the whole building sector with sustainability consulting services, mainly around buildings, but then more and more about, let's say, district and city scale. And while we are helping them with our, let's say, expertise, that is a shared expertise in this type of contexts, so you would, understand, I mean, energy modeling, commissioning, and so on. We identify gaps where we can bring technologies from the EU projects into these market services. And because clients that go for a LEED certification, for example, they do it knowing that they spend a little bit more, but they have a return on the quality and the like high-level results they get. These type of clients are the most interested in testing new solutions that add value. And this paradigm translates often in examples like this. So we're active in projects, and here are two examples. Actually, the end benefit solution that was just presented by the colleague from LIST was also originated in the Nature for Cities project and is going to be deployed in REGEN. So these are two European projects. Nature for Cities it was finished a couple of years ago. We are now active in REGEN, and within REGEN we will use this GreenPass software. which is a solution which I will highlight you in a second. And especially one of the entry line in the market in this case is urban regeneration projects, like the Reinventing Cities program, which is a program for cities in the world started by the C40. It's basically a framework that helps cities in making urban regeneration following, let's say, a given path and, let's say, methodology. And we are working on this with this type of solution, GreenPass and others, with in a twofold manner. One is with architects and designers that help, that they need to demonstrate that their project is valuable from the environmental perspective, as well as, thanks to the REGEN project, with municipalities. So Milan City, as was presented this morning, is partner of the project, and we are helping them to use the tool to evaluate the different project design that they receive from competing design teams. Yeah, it's then our services on the market side, which is the one I work more, are, they cover different aspects of the transition, not only the second, which is this one on nature-based solution, how we assess them, but as well in products on energy. We work very closely with and for IES in our markets, as well as digitalization, integration of renewables, and indoor environmental quality with sensors and so on. So this is our kind of digital twin paradigm that is built upon strong market technologies that we met through this European collaborative project. So say that about GreenPass. GreenPass was started as a tool to basically answer the issue of climate change and how this impact like living space and territories where we are all, and especially urban areas. So the target is to, face challenges like urban heat island effect, all the flooding and the issue with rain, the quality of the air, energy, air quality, as well as cost of nature-based solution and their implementation. So the tool itself, it's software as a service, so it allows to model a project and run different scenarios. And so this is with the focus on either single building or district area. It comes with a software platform where in the user interface, like a user can digitalize the project and create this digital twin with a focus on outdoor spaces only, and all the type of surfaces that are in the project in terms of permeability, albedo, so reflection, heat island effect, the type of material, the as I said, the permeability, as well as nature-based solution like trees. In this case, the tool is able to cope with all of them, so including green roofs, green walls, as well as water and blue infrastructures in general. So the tool itself then runs simulation with a known engine in the academic world, which is ENVIMET, which is outdoor urban simulation. And at the end, the results can be extracted in different ways. So the GreenPass themselves, so what I didn't mention is that GreenPass was a partner, like a company from, was set it up within the Nature for Cities project, is a company in Vienna, and they run this system. So they provide the tools, we help them to expand their market base in Italy, but they provide the tool and then they also release certifications. In fact, in what they call the environmental impact kit, there is the possibility to set up the model, as we saw, and then there are different type of checks depending on the number of indicators that can be analyzed. So we have the comprehensive climate check, which will cover climate, water, air, biodiversity, and energy. And then we have a very specific aspects of wind check, for example, on how this the building shape, for example, is impacting, and what's the secondary effect on, for example, in comfort on outdoor spaces. Then we have a focus on water check, and closing with the certification check. So the certification check, it's not only a verification on how the project is or possible implementation of new scenarios, which impact they can have, but it comes together with, if you calculate the whole 28 indicators, it comes together with a certification itself of the project, equivalent to LEED, BREEAM, those are focused on sustainability of the building, considering also the indoor of the building and the quality and the material and so on. This certification instead is released by GreenPass to a project, and allows to demonstrate how the project is behaving according to different indicators, which are summarized in this slide on 6 urban challenges. So climate, water, the cost of this infrastructure, and not only the investment cost, but also the maintenance cost, and as well as biodiversity, air, and energy. And yeah, so that's the type of process. The new additions that were lately made by Greenpass, which we are going to experiment as well in the REGEN project, are the EU taxonomy check. So a set of indicators specifically addressing the EU taxonomy requirements. And so that's it in terms of the software. I will then mention a couple of projects we have worked on. So this is, as I mentioned at the beginning, urban regeneration projects. So specifically is Piazzale Loreto in Milan. It's a well-known square in Milan, and this today is a roundabout, and it will be transformed in this way with this kind of tertiary building, a retail space, but with the planting of many trees and green roofs for this. And the platform itself allows, you can see here the comparison between the project before and after. And so you see that today is a roundabout. It will be more, they will change also the mobility, and this was part of the project design. But what we focused on was the energy, and as well as the impact on environmental indicators that we have seen. And in this case, we can see in the thermal comfort analysis the space distribution of outdoor temperature, and the objective here through this type of indicators is to maximize the area that can stay within comfort zone, and so basically to make outdoor spaces more livable for people, so that can be used and encouraged. These are the type of scorecard that you get from the software itself. And so, for example, we have the thermal load score, which is focusing on how the project itself is impacting on the surrounding, and in the worst moment of the year, in terms of climate, so the hottest day of the year, at the hottest time, is this our project going to be decrease the overall heat on the surrounding, or it will affect them negatively? So that's the idea. And then we have the thermal comfort that we have seen, the thermal storage, which is related specifically more on the heat island effect on the project itself. And then the other two main indicators, the runoff score, so how much water will be stored in the project itself before going to the sewage system, so to preserve this and the flooding issue in cities. And the last one is the carbon sequestration score. So these are the 5 main indicators, and then when the analysis is done in a deeper level, as we've seen, we can reach to 28 indicators. Other example are this is urban district in Rome, where we applied the software, the analysis, and also we reached the certification. It was actually the first certification released in Italy last year. And in this project, in this slide, I just wanted to summarize and show how the underpinning simulation tool, which is Ambimed, allowed the analysis to go deep, both in terms of outdoor temperature map, as well as like wind maps. So this type of analysis allow really, when there is time, in this case it was an existing campus, but when there is time, I mean, in the project phase where building shapes can still be adapted and changed, then of course the wind analysis allow to identify and see how air current can mitigate hotspots in our layouts and work on this. And then if the building shape cannot be modified, then we can test and dimension green roof or green walls in the surrounding of hotspot to mitigate this issue. So that's the certification that was achieved by the project. The good thing is that this was, it can be seen here, a very green existing building. So in this place, the investment fund that owned the site is their capital, and they wanted to, basically they have this real estate park, and they want to potentially sell it in the future. So they wanted to maximize the value of it, and they asked us to, given that the starting point was already good, so there was not a project in like a retrofit project for this campus, but we managed, despite there was no project, to reach a silver certification, which was quite high, considered that it was nothing to be designed because let's say the overall situation was already quite good. And on this project, we did both the certification as well as the EU taxonomy assessment. The last bit that I wanted to share is this new Green Pass check that was released this year. So what we have seen before, it requires a lot of time and is like a dynamic energy model for building. So you need to model the building, run the simulation, and specifically for Green Pass, the simulation within EnviMet is managed directly by Green Pass. What Green Pass did was to release the web platform, which is a software tool in the like of one-click LCA, for example. So it's a simplified web tool that runs with data-driven models, so using AI, that allow to use a reduced number of input, nevertheless makes the user totally independent to put in the input and extract outputs to identify what's the impact of up to 45 different type of nature-based solution, with analysis on cost benefit and understand how to move. So the tool itself is working with 28 climate risks that have been identified and can be displayed and reported by the tool. And this part, it's done for current and future weather scenarios and includes recommendation for measures. So this type of tool makes it different because it allowed users to make overall turnkey simulation on their own without depending on Green Pass for the detailed EnviMet model. This is an example of a urban regeneration project that we applied it with in Bologna area. And the last slide is about how we will then back use these tools in the project. So it was mentioned this morning, this is the Milan district where REGEN is focusing. So we will use the Green Pass ecosystem, both on the web-based tool and the detailed modeling and certification for this area, as well as Milan is at the moment running different competitions for the Reinventing Cities program. So we are going to help Milan, the city, to evaluate projects by using both approaches and fine-tuning which one is best, as well as benchmarking the results with the nature and benefit tool that was presented before myself. So that's it. Thank you.
Okay, so many thanks for your presentation, Andrea. So we'll go for the last presentation before the question and answer session and brainstorming. So will be SNAG project from Jürgen Frick, University of Stuttgart, if I remember well. Okay, the floor is yours.
Hello, everybody. My name is Jürgen Frick. I'm from the Materials Testing Institute at the University of Stuttgart, and we are partner in the SNAG project. And SNAG is coordinated by IDEME in Spain, in Valencia. And we have 16 partners, including partners from UK and Switzerland. So we have not only the European funding, but as well the additional national funding sources. Well, as I said earlier, this is more focused on the building scale, so we come back a bit more to the building scale than to the environmental scale. So the aim of SNAG is our innovative circular economy and AI methodology for sustainable buildings, and how we will achieve that. First of all, we develop sustainable materials. Here you see some examples. For example, aerogel from construction waste. Maybe I will tell you a bit of a story about that. They will use silica-rich construction waste to generate, so the raw material is really waste, and they can use the fine particles, which is normally you have to deposit because of harmful substances in it. This doesn't disturb the process, so you can really have a value from waste. And then they use as well ethanol, but the ethanol is come from a brewery which they extract from when they make alcohol-free beer. And then they also develop a process, it's already in development, to recycle also the ethanol to have not too much transport. And this whole system is modular, so they can also produce certain amounts, but because the transport is always an issue, then you can also franchise the system to other places where you have sources of waste and also customers who can use the technology. Yeah. And then the other so this is on the recycling path of the project, and the other one is on the bio-based materials. Here you have a selection of bio-based boards out of hemp, wood, Posidonia, for example. We will develop. We focus a bit on insulation materials, but also for on materials which can be replace non-sustainable materials like gypsum boards or something like that. And the overall the next is also the use of artificial intelligence in our digital tool to empower architects and builders to make eco-friendly choices. So this is in development. So the focus is energy efficiency on buildings level to alleviate energy poverty. Yeah. And also to and we focus as well on very much on decarbonization, so to reduce the emissions from the production phase, but also in the use phase of buildings. So the targets are first digital tool assistant to offer tailor-made options of thermal insulation materials and layouts, taking into account technical, environmental, and economic inputs. So they will use the target 3 thermal insulation materials database, and also will end up in a digital building lookbook. And the second target is the sustainable by design thermal insulation materials. I already told you about this sustainable materials based on circularity and on reuse and or on biomass. So, and the focus is also to look for the complete circularity of the materials. So, current status: the digital tool assistant is at the moment looking integrating the. Therefore, it's around 40% with the thermal insulation materials database to have to look for the existing solutions. Where what we found is that there are not many bio-based or circular materials on the market which I can use in the materials database. Therefore, there will be a lot of effort to include as well more advanced solutions. Then the materials are really in development. We started last year in November, so we will have this year the first pilot prototype products, and then based on this prototype products, we will make then the final selection of the products. I will go further in detail, and well, the digital building lookbook will then be designed with the materials, data, and also the tool assistant. So, and what I want to mention as well is that we are in preparation of a summer school. We thought maybe to include PhD candidates and also maybe professionals. At the moment, we are thinking of 3 themes. Maybe one group will be then look for sustainable materials. The second group will be do eco-friendly design on building level. And maybe another group will do sustainability assessment, LCA, LCC, and other indicators, and also modeling. And we plan at the moment to have a cluster activity with the sister projects from the same theme, which are inbuilt and also trustic, and maybe others, maybe other possibilities, and maybe I will share the details in our group here. To maybe you can send or maybe can contribute to certain aspects in this summer school. It's maybe we will do it maybe 2 times, so it will be maybe in 2025 and 2026. Yeah, because the project is running until May 2027. So, and also we have contacts from the inbuilt project with the International Building Exhibition in Stuttgart. And also in Stuttgart there is also a cluster, it's called Integrated Computational Design and Construction for Architects. Here is an example which is of a building which was built finished this year at a garden exhibition in Wangen in Baden-Württemberg. So this is made of bio-based materials. So the future plans are, I think next year we will do the selection, the validation of the sustainable materials with large-scale laboratory testing, assessment for ways of certification, because we want to have not only example products, we want to bring the products on the market, and also we look for the upscaling of the production, and also the digital tools, finalization, integration, and start of the validation phase. So then in 2026 we will have this preparation of the demo buildings. We will have 3 buildings, one in Scandinavia with a northern climate, a continental climate in Switzerland, and Mediterranean climate in Spain, focused on new buildings, but as well renovation and different use cases, residential, office, commercial spaces. It's not all the buildings are selected at the moment, but it will be projects of partners in the consortium, which so this guarantee that the solutions will be employed. And the focus is that we have at least 1 year of monitoring. So maybe 2026 is we already start to do it as we already have started to select the buildings and also to prepare the installation. So it's maybe a bit well, the year here is maybe not the correct one. So we will start maybe at beginning of 26. So and we hope at the end of the project 2027 that the main results are achieved, that we have the monitoring of the materials in demo cases, and we are ready for the market for these materials. Then we have this integrated digital twin assistant platform and digital building logbook validated and available. So, and also we have all products and tools. There we have a life cycle sustainability, safety and risk, and techno-economic and feasibility assessment performed for all the products and tools there. So thank you very much for your attention. I think this was my last slide.
Thank you very much, Jürgen. So maybe we will come back to the first slide. So now we forecast, we are nearly on time. It's quite okay, 7 minutes. So thank you to all speakers to have respected the times. We will have now a brainstorming session, we call it, and questions and answers. So I will be helped, supported by Sylvia from Technalia. We have quite a good time, like 30-40 minutes, according to the questions you need, to exchange. So you know that I encourage you also during the conference still remaining to use B2Match platform to make networking. And now we're doing kind of old-fashioned way. I will go with the microphone and give you the floor to enjoy the time we have together to have some questions. One of my colleagues, Mojtaba, please come on, just to show you. Okay, Mojtaba will be so kind to take minutes as well during the questions. So don't worry, we are writing also the things, and we will record what you're exchanging during these question sessions. Who would like to start maybe with questions about the presentation of today? Sylvia, you want to start? There is always one to start. Yes, please. Okay. You would.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, maybe. I have just a comment to the colleague from List. You mentioned that you are searching for the wall assessment, a green wall. I was last week. I was in a bioeconomy congress near Stuttgart in Färbach, and there was a group from the Fraunhofer IBP, because they installed a wall, and the focus was a green wall on a building, on a real building, on their institute building, and they assessed as well not only the energy use but also the biodiversity, and also because they tried to have really a very diverse plants on the facade. Maybe this would be an ideal case because they have data for it. Maybe I can bring you in contact. Yeah. This would be a really perfect case. Yeah.
And also, you said, Jürgen, that you're organizing a summer school in Stuttgart. Do you have the dates already?
No, not yet. I think that it will be in Stuttgart and in Norway. It's not yet decided yet, but I think we are preparing it, and we are searching for ideas as well to maybe to enhance these themes. Yeah. It will be 1 week, and maybe with a final presentation with a bigger audience. Yeah.
Okay. So you will share the information so that participants can get and spread the maybe just.
Just to add, if you would like to attend or would like to spread the word about the summer school, just drop by our booth and drop your contact details so we can inform you.
So just very quickly to clarify, both of you are talking about the same summer school.
That's right.
Okay. Yes. And you said there are no dates, but it's obviously the next summer 2025.
That's right.
Okay, great.
Ladies first.
No, it's okay. Okay. So thank you very much. I'm Alejandro Alonso from Valencia, and my question is for Mr. Frick, because you said that you have a pilot in Valencia, yes, and you will test some biomass materials. What about the proximity of these, the source of these materials?
I think I'm not sure if the test case in Spain in Valencia.
It's nearby Castellet.
Ah, okay, perfect. Okay, so yeah, thank you.
Sources, well, our raw materials. Sorry about. Yeah. So the raw materials we select, we always thought about the proximity of them. We have been working before in more national environment, and we have tried with rice husk, Posidonia, that are Mediterranean, or in our area. They're very, you can find it easily. And now we decide, because so many tests we have made, for a more global selection, global, I'm talking about Europe, to use hemp in this case for a SNOC project. And making many tests, this was a combination, and with bioadhesives, with a substitution of tannins in a phenyl formaldehyde adhesive. Mm-hmm. So right now you will have a single provider for the whole project and pilots?
Yes.
Indeed, we are in this phase. I asked for hemp in Pamplona, that there's a administrator, and also a company of our partners is based in Turkey, and they have also some fibers of hemp. So we're gonna characterize them and see their properties, if they're working similar between each other, and for decision making after. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Cáñamo.
Okay, because I mean, some of us, we are not like from that technical point of view, we don't work. So cáñamo, as he was saying. Yeah. Okay, I have a question for also because you are talking about snack project. So the project is the intention is to create this AI tool to help designers to include that kind of solutions, or you are also designing the solutions?
Well, I'm not too familiar with the digital tools, but as I understand, they want to have a real, they want to have a solution which based on the materials developed in the project. Also, and materials means not only material itself, it's also the installation and the system, how you will apply it. So they will include it, and I think it's after the project, it's easily you can wait on add other solutions as well. Yeah.
Those products that you are developing are expected to be able to be in the market after the project, so they are in TRL, they have already been developing other projects and you are like finalizing the development, or?
Yes, well, in the case that I can talk, in the bio-based panels, we have been developing in other national projects with rice husk, and it's another combination. What we want to add is the bioadhesive, so it's more sustainable. It's a mortar layer also. It's 60% of construction and demolition waste, so it's a whole sustainable sandwich ethics system. And also one of these solutions, we're searching for a patent. So the end commitment is to get into the marketplace, and we're in this work. So yes.
The product are particulates which are already on the market. From competitors, but this particulates will be more sustainable. And then what is the aim in the project is to develop a insulation plaster out of with these new materials, and as well a foam, which is it's a Netherlands group, because in Netherlands you have this buildings with a tile and the wall and then the gap and to fill with foam. Yeah, so this. For that, it's the silica aerogel, and there is another group from Switzerland. They already have a aerogel board. Well, this is a plastic material, but they have a lot of cuttings, and they will reuse these cuttings and also maybe recycled boards to cut them down and to make a blow-in insulation, which you can also recycle as a form of recycling, and also maybe when they come to the end, then you have to remove it, you can use it again. Yeah. So that it stays in the circle. This is.
And just a quick question. For this project, we are not talking about construction. We're talking about renovation. Both. Okay. Perfect.
There, well, for the demos, there are 3 sites. The Castellon one is going to be renovation, well, refurbished. There is another one that is residential in Switzerland, and it's also renovated, and it's a new one that is going to be in Norway. It's still I don't really know in which phase it is, but it's going to be a new. It's going to be a new construction. So both of them, yes.
Other questions? Yeah, for sure.
Well, I'm going to the front because I am supposed to be with Loic, but I am also making questions. I have one question for Andrea. When you were talking about Green Pass, you said that it can be used in buildings, but also in public spaces. So have you tested any public space? I mean, you have explained some project that was already like some buildings with a green big space. Do you like make like the evaluation in a collective way, like evaluating the buildings and the space, or you can like someone can contract the Green Pass just for public space, like for a park or whatever?
So I think that the tool is flexible. We have never, as ourselves in Italy with the projects, we have always worked with projects connected to buildings, but the tool is can be applied to any type of space. I mean, it should be a space that is focused on usage of people. So I guess not the woods or something, but not for forestry management, I'd say, but more for open spaces, urban public spaces. Yes, yes. Yeah, so yes, and in two ways. So one is the detailed modeling that we saw, the graphs of heat maps and so on. That part it's a two-step process. So you can be trained to use the interface and then develop the model and then send it to GreenPass and they give you back the results, basically a report with the results, and that's the detailed modeling. But then now with the simplified version of web-based, that's you just buy a license and you use it as other tools like OneClick or IES or any other thing.
I have another question. This question is for Regeneration. You said that you started this year, no? So you are at the beginning. I guess that you, as we have in ROP and in REGEN, you have a lot of activities for citizen engagement. Have you already started with them? And what are the barriers you are facing? Because yesterday we were in another workshop and we talked about that citizen participation is like compulsory, and of course it is, because it has to be. But when you go from the project's point of view to as citizens, it's really tricky to get them on board and to make them participate. Sometimes we are more technicians than people participating. So if you have already started or if you have some plans.
Thanks, yes. So the citizen engagement is a very important part in our project because we want to have this inclusive neighborhood in the regeneration process. And so, as you said, we are actually at the very beginning of the project. And what we have done is that we did this stakeholder mapping. That's the very basic thing. We try to understand who are the actually stakeholder groups that we would like to target on. And then we are making now plans. We already have like partners, for example, in the University of Bologna. We have eClay. They are leading the innovation actions and the participatory actions. And so they have already done workshop together with the demos to try to make sure that they understand where these elements of the social innovation will have to be in the project and how they can start thinking about it. So we have already like this knowledge kind of exchange, not with the stakeholder groups, but actually within the project. Make sure that everyone is on the same page, understand the importance of this. So we did workshops already with them, and now we are planning the actual actions. All the demos have to make their action plan and implementation roadmap by the end of this year, and this roadmap will be shared within the whole consortium. Especially we have this innovation hub experts. We will look at all these actions and make sure that this element of social innovation is in all of these actions. And so so we try to have different kind of measures to make sure that we really emphasize on this. But so this is how we go. I can maybe tell you more next year how the actual implementation works.
So you should come to the next SP 2025 then. So good transition. Thank you very much, Vicky.
I also have a question for Regenerate. So actually two steps. One is on the energy side. So how are you tackling the energy aspect in terms of modeling or anything at building, city or neighborhood, if you are doing any detailed modeling or what extent? And the other one is about the innovation hub. Is this, because I remember you were presenting it earlier, but is it centralized? Because you said it's people external from the consortium, if I remember correctly, but is in the consortium. But and so is it a centralized level or is a kind of like pilot specific ones?
Yes, right. The Innovation Hub is as a centralized kind of unit The main reason we have that is to make sure that the innovations that are developed in individual demo will not get lost, so that's to avoid the silos. So all the innovation will be actually communicated across the board in the project, so everyone knows who is doing what, and maybe some of the example solutions that develop in one demo can be also used in other demos. So this is the whole idea. And so we have these local circles that are actually based on the demos, and then the experts are kind of not in the demo, but they are those experts that advising all the different demos. So we have this structure in the project. In terms of the energy question that you have, we, depending on the demos, not every demos are very much focused on the energy topics, I have to say. For example, in Tampere, they are looking at the walkability city concept, so they are looking at modern mobility aspects. But the demos in Cascades is about social housing, and they look more at the energy aspects, especially with the energy poverty. So, and we have digital twins developed, or we ask each demo to develop the digital twins, and that is actually used for the simulation and modeling of the different aspects. So we will have the modeling at the building level in terms of building renovation, and we will also have anti-map modeling and the open space to understand the ventilation, the air quality, the urban heat island effect. So yeah, so there is a quite different kind of simulations that we expect to do, but we are again at the very... Cesena is on the mobility side also. They have a lot of ideas of how to reduce the car use in the train station area and use more public transport, and at the same time encourage this active mobility. They said is mainly cycling and walking. Yeah.
This is for Rehouse. You are here, I think that your colleague is not. She's playing a case in, where it was? In Greece. Yeah, about student residence and different like packages that were going to be implemented to retrofit those buildings. And the challenge is to, let's say, to be able to do it with people living inside and not disturbing them so much. My question is, those, projects are going to be implemented. I mean, the Rehouse project is going to implement the construction works also. If it is yes, how are going to be funded those works? Because I think that we all face a new phase of European projects where construction works are not funded by the projects. And when you go to neighborhoods to ask them to retrofit their homes, but you are not going to give them money for that when the previous program had budget for that, but not now. Sometimes you have to find other ways of financing those interventions, or help them or push them to look for other funding options like national programs or next generation funds or whatever. So I was curious about how your project is dealing with that, or if it's that those municipalities already had a budget, you know, like that was going to be spent, and now they want to use the project to innovate in how to spend the money.
Unfortunately, I cannot answer for the Greek demo because I don't know the details, but I can answer with the Italian demo. That is quite in line with what you're asking. And there is, of course, some budget that is dedicated within the project for the innovation development. So all the technologies that are innovative are funded by the project, and all the partners that are related to the innovation are, of course, within the partnership and the budget from the project. For what concern all the rest of the intervention, for example, in the Italian demo, we have two renovation packages. One is dedicated to the envelope, and the other one is dedicated to the technical building system. So basically, the system to provide heating, cooling, and domestic hot water. But other intervention apart from this are foreseen. For example, the substitution of the windows, or any other type of intervention. And in this case, a tender procedure has been defined for both for the design phase, so to find an external company that could provide the executive design for the intervention, after that all internal partners have provided the preliminary and final design then we need an executive design, and then another tender procedure for the procurement of all the materials outside the scope of the project, of the rehouse project. And this is done because of the property of the buildings is from a public entity that is within the project. So Arca Capitanata is one of the partner of the project that is directly connected with the Regione Puglia, that is the administrative entity that is administrating the region of Puglia region. And this connection allowed to use some money from the region to finance this further activities in terms of renovation packages.
I don't know if it's here someone from Belixia. Ah, yes, you are. That was in the project is the one I have presented. We are trying also to launch an energy community with neighbors, but at least in Basque Country, until now, the kind of energy communities that are being imposed are mainly those that are located the panels in the land side, and then people connect to them. But we want to implement the panels in their own buildings. So we have more than a technical problem, we have a social problem, how to convince people that perhaps the panel is going to be installed in your building, but the rest of your neighbors is going to take advantage of it. Why my building and not your building? So as you are dealing with, I guess that you are dealing with that kind of, let's say, challenges, I wanted to know more like how are you facing, or if you already are going to communities that are already like very advanced on the energy community side, so that is already a discussion that happened before you appear, or how you are dealing with that kind of, let's say, the social part of the...
Okay, so maybe I cannot provide too much detail because I'm not involved with, let's say, directly in the project, but I have an overview of it. Even if, let's say, the project is really focused on the innovation pathway and the development of all the innovation to have the building as an active node in the grid. From the beginning, we involve the citizen and the occupants of the building, also because we are going to implement, let's say, algorithms and controls of some of the assets within the buildings in order to shifting the consumption use, etc., etc. So what we are doing is in all the demo sites, involve them from the very beginning of the project, making webinars, workshop, say co-creation approach, in order that what we are going to do, you are involved, you know what we are going to do, you know which could be the impact from directly from yourself, not only say from the economic point of view, but also in the daily behavior in the houses. And let's say collecting feedback to understand, okay, maybe if I do in this way, it's better for you. So also tailored how the different innovation will be installed and used in the demo site that can fit not only the needs of the SEO or TSO or the let's say facility manager, etc., but also the needs of the occupants that at the end let's say are impacted by this innovation. And one of the main challenges is also that, as anticipated, the different demo sites in Evelixia are coming from different sectors. So we have, let's say, apartment blocks, but we have single-family house, we have hospital, we have tertiary buildings, we have campus. So all these kind of buildings, and so the occupants of this building have different needs and exigence. So for the students that go to the campus, okay, you can do whatever I want. If I stay well in the, let's say, in the room when I take the lecture, it's okay. For the single family house, of course, it's different, the aspect of, for example, in the hospital, you have some constraints and restriction because you need to let's say, cover certain consumption that you cannot manage whatever you want in an hospital. So also the approach that we had in the different type of building is different.
Would it be an advantage that if you install it on your roof, the other community they share a bit the costs, because normally you have also to renovate the roof before you install it and insulate it, and to share a bit these costs, then it's a win-win situation.
In fact, due that the duration of the project that is 3 years, and I mean all these citizen processes are very long, time-consuming, and I mean you have to go again. For the time being, what we are doing is to try to install it in a public building, so we don't have to deal with all, let's say, the legal issues of who is the owner, if it's in my roof. We thought about that, like, okay, we can retrofit your roof inside the budget, because you are going the one that is going to have the installation on your, on your roof. But you know that in Spain the property is multi-property. I mean, everyone is owner of their own flat. So to reach an agreement between like 12 families, it's a mess. And it's the same in Italy, in Greece, and in a lot of countries. I mean, it has nothing to do. I have been in projects where we have one demo in Denmark and another one in Spain, and it was totally different. I mean, it was like a kind of nightmare for us. And I think that is also something that we have to take into account in the projects. That is the social context and the cultural context that is totally different. So the approach has to be different. So I think that is why I think it's interesting the projects like Regenerate or REGEN or Drop, the ones that have a very much focus in the first part of social, because they are going to be very useful for the next projects, you know, to learn like how to approach the different, even in the same country, people from different ages is different. Older people perhaps is more conservative. I mean, you ask someone that is 80 that has to invest to retrofit the building, and they say like, okay, I'm going to die in 15 years. I don't want to invest my money. I want to travel, you know, like these kind of things. I think that sometimes us as technicians, we lost like that approach. And then when you go to the participatory processes, people, that is the kind of things they say. You are trying to sell them a smart house or smart homes, and they are asking for elevators. And that is it. That is the real life. So that's what we have. Any other question? Yeah.
Just want to follow up on what you said, that I'm learning the experiences from other projects. Actually, I present before, we already have this Regenerate cookbook. And actually, there's the recipes experienced from different cities in Europe, how they actually do social innovations, what are the ideas, what are the actions that they have done. So if you're interested, you can actually look at, we have these starters in the very beginning stage, and all over to the dessert, it's for the more long-term collaboration with the stakeholders. So that's quite really, really interesting ideas, and I think we can all learn from that.
Also from the bad practices. I mean, not just the good ones. In Smart and City, look at her, we did publish a document with the worst practices and the best practices, you know, like things that we tried that were going to be a mad success and were nothing. And we did, because we think that you can learn a lot from the others, what has not been working. So yeah, I will ask you for the documents. Yeah, thank you.
In these 2 days, we have been talking a lot about standardization, and when I try to find out what are the definitions of stakeholders around Europe, I found virtually nothing. I went to various projects to find their stakeholder definitions and compared them. Couldn't this be also a topic where we just combine our common knowledge?
Yesterday in the workshop we had about the NEP projects and so on, we talk about the importance of having a common language when we talk about things, because sometimes in the projects we use the same word to call to different things. Even inside the consortiums we have different approaches depending on your background. So yeah, as you say, stakeholder can be totally different from one to the other. So I think it could be a good, that could be for a CSA or something like that, you know, like a small project that can help us to talk about the same things when we use the words.
I just jump into because you say twice it's other possibilities for projects. So definitely we have plenty of opportunities for you to collaborate and for R2M to support you. Definitely, we are here for you.
Thank you. I think that's a good point that you're raising. And yesterday we presented a project which is called Reincarnate. And one of the challenges that we recognized at the beginning of the project was that there is no common language, there's no consensus. And then because there is no consensus, then there is confusion always, and then basically it's difficult to implement your strategies. So what we started in the project was to develop an ontology. And with ontology, basically we defined the things and their meanings and how they relate to each other. So basically you have, yes, different stakeholders. Well, in our terminology there we define them as actors. And then for every process there are different actors involved, and they have different relations with different processes and tasks. So I think maybe one solution to that would be like defining the ontology, and then if everyone respects that ontology and agrees on that, then I think everyone then understands when they talk with each other, also from different disciplines, because sometimes the entities have different meanings if you go from one discipline to another discipline.
We had other projects with the aeronautics sector, which is where it's really very strict what ontology you use, because everything is already standardized, because you have to fly. So I think this is a process, and the fragmentation is, if you compare the two sectors, it's about fragmentation, and it's about the different country structures that you have to respect.
Okay, other questions? Yeah, Vicky?
I have a more general and open questions. I think maybe also relevant to all the projects. I think in all the presentations we talk about development of digital tools, digital solutions, right? And we also in our project we have digital twins, and I think a number of projects talk about that as well. Some of the digital twin is not just for the buildings. We have the neighborhood digital twins, and always all these development involve a lot of time and resources and efforts, right? And I was just wondering, do you have ideas about the long-term perspective of these digital tools, digital models that you develop in the project? How do you envision that these kind of digital tools developed in the project can be still used after the end of the project, that all these knowledge or efforts will not be just lost? Like in Regeneration, we develop digital twins for all our 4 demos, and we are trying really hard to try to integrate it into the existing IT infrastructure of the cities. We have the cities as the leading partner on each demo, but for some cities, for example, like Tampere, they have a very long-term perspective on the digitalization strategy of the city. So they really want to have digital twins and the metaverse as part of this strategy. So they are very clear how they want to go in long term. But I find that some other cities may be more difficult. And I just want to understand your experience or ideas, how you see this kind of long-term perspective.
Just one point about European projects. On that point specifically, you have any way to demonstrate your sustainability. So every time in the plan, while building the project, we have to let's say, think about that point. That is very important, you mean. Then in the concrete, you said in real life, it's always more complicated. That's why you're definitely right.
Maybe short answer, just sharing my experience from different projects. I think there are different aspects to it. So basically, every project has this standard work package, which is called exploitation. Sometimes it becomes a little bit too bureaucratic, but sometimes people really think how they can exploit their products after the life cycle of the project. There's also this, I think, maybe a strategy from European Commission that when you have innovation actions, what they call, then they really expect that you build up on the existing efforts, which is really good, because then you don't start inventing the wheel from scratch. So I see often that many companies and many partners, they start building up on their proven technologies where they want to take them to the higher TRL. So I think the TRL is already leading that process, that you know where you stand and then where you have to go, so you come up with the strategic plan. I think in every project where you have the possibility to demonstrate your tools, then you can also, individually, you can just register all the limitations, shortcomings, and then improve it and hopefully bring that product to the market. So that's my experience.
Sorry to intervene and to jump ahead in the queue. Since we are representing the same company, it would be strange if I would say something contradicting, but building upon that. As you know, in consortia, there's different kind of organizations. There's the RTOs, there's industry, etc. There's SMEs. And I think you cannot expect from, let's say, university that they're going to exploit. That's not really related to the nature, and they shouldn't. But for a company like us, we need to do it simply to survive. This is our business model. This is our reason to exist, to really bring it to the market. And my experience in these projects, once everybody knows his or her role in it, and quite often it's been said, yeah, you have to make agreements, but in my experience, it's not that difficult because it really relates to your own intrinsic motivation, etc. And again, indeed, in different projects, different vehicles that the EU introduced, in one vehicle is more likely to exploit, etc., than in the others. That's also related to the TRL level, etc. But for me, that combination, combined with what I just said, the nature of the organization, there always will be parties in a consortium that need to exploit and want to exploit. So, was it correct, Sama? Or
yeah, sure.
Okay.
Well, I'm part of the Valencia Clima y Energía Foundation, which is a public foundation. And I would say also is to find this kind of customer also, because for this kind of tools, we could be one of these perfect customers. We want to exploit this, and we will not earn money because we can't earn money with this, but we can get benefits by using these tools with citizens. And I'm sure that also in your cities, maybe you have these proximity offices in which you engage citizens, which is also very useful for this trust you were talking about when engaging communities. And having these tools is like a decision-making tool that for sure has benefits, and it's our duty also to count these benefits, because we also have to demonstrate that the invest that the city municipality is doing on us has benefits in the city. So it's always to find also this kind of partners, because we are eager to have this kind of tools, because and when we talk about getting stakeholders for the projects and you start another one, you know that you will come to the same people and you cannot burn them. You have to offer new things. You have to offer useful things. So apart from getting companies to exploit them, also get the municipalities and offer their benefits by using the tools. They will have to save some budget for it, of course, because digital tools are not free and they have to be maintained. But for sure, it's about getting these co-benefits well defined.
I have been in some projects, and in some of them it happens what you say. You develop a digital tool. When the project ends, it disappears. I mean, it's a total waste from time and money, from the public money, because European projects is public money. I think that one of the things we have to see is also, because many times I work in the urban scale, so we work with public administration, with municipalities, that they want to use it. And when I ask them, it's not the mayor, it's like the technicians, and they know how to use it. I mean, so first you have to make sure that someone is going to be able to use it. You have to engage them from the beginning and to design, redesign, or adapt the tool with them. Because if no one knows to use it, and also we have to think that for public administration, many times our projects is I don't know how to say that politely in English. It's an horror, because they have all their work, and then they have to be involved in a project, learning something they are not really interested in, they have not asked for. So I think that a lot of work has to be done at the beginning with the one that is going to be the end user. It has to be useful and meaningful for them. It has to make their work easier. if it's not one of those two things, if they know how to use it, they don't understand, and they really do not see the added value of using that, they are not going to use it. And when we go, the project is finished. And it's a pity, and it's quite frustrating for us, you know, like you put a lot of effort. So for example, in REGEN with Sama, we are trying to figure out like the tools we have, how we can use it, and what the demos need, and who is going to use them in the demo, so that we try to fix this beforehand. Before starting changing anything or developing anything, we have to see who is going to use it and what for. I mean, what is the meaning of using it? So because digital tools are tools, not the goal of the project. So yeah, it's a tricky question. Next year more.
Vicky said open question, so it was open, I think. So if in terms, if everybody agrees now in terms of timing, we are for the closing session. I will be quite fast because I'm sure everybody wants to go to the lunch. So I would like to thank every one of you, all the speakers for the great presentations you did today, all the attendees, because we were quite fully followed on the internet, so you've been brainstormed and it's working very well. So thanks also to organizers, List, Atwem, and to our sponsors. We were talking today of crafting sustainable and inclusive neighborhoods. I think in all your presentations, the common basis were these ones. I saw tools, models, great researches, and also always with the inclusive part, we were talking about service, social labs, impact on the populations, and acceptation. So that's very great in terms of further developments, ongoing ones, and all the outputs I'm sure you're going to reach in your different projects. It was a pleasure for me to chair this session. I wish you a nice end of conference. I also encourage you, as I said before, to use B2Match profile till the time it's open, so that you can exchange and do networking. And hopefully we see each other next time for other new great projects like yours. Thank you very much.